People and they was equal. Prepare to the Manuela, I'm coming to the ground. Le président Bagidi Romeo, président Jean-Pierre, el professeur, un nouveau femme. Le tout puissant président de la mutuelle des deux eaux, le commissaire Tignon Blaise, Antonio Michel Tignoké, les mecs sont à Bango, on peut les aimer, et on connaît, nous sommes les soirs, la Besongo, la PCA, c'est Ferrer, je viens de voir. Monsieur de Maison, Anastasia, président Stéphane Serge de Gambie, manager, aussi Aurora, Eva, la conseillère, le CP Kansai, le Fambio, c'est Bertin, Jean Robert, au Santuawa, notre Robert, Dipimpina, la travers de Pékin, mon fils. Si on est monté,
Good evening, good evening. So I want to welcome you. This event today is Sunday. It's Sunday special with the Analysts. We begin to assemble to very shortly. We want to get a program going here. I am Alfonso Zin, so to the Love Republic Radio and LPR. Welcome to the
Minnesota on now. Also, whatever. No master the one. The first thing for one way get out. Let you deal. You rest in here. Rico, Rico. How do you go? How do you do it?
Let me just bring it in here before I get in trouble with you. Welcome to the show. Quality is better than quantity. That's exactly who we are, and that's what we intend to do. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Z, host of the Magura Public Radio. So let me get this audio right up here. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Hopefully it's still out. Okay, there we go. Now let me bring in Mr. Jerry Bacon. Jerry Bacon is a top insider of the unit. You know, every time get your own season. You know that one with some people when they're doing it, they think say. It's not going to come to an end. Yesterday was yesterday. Today is today. Welcome, legendary Jerry Bacon. It's a top insider of the ruling establishment, Unity Party. I think I'm correct on this one, Mr. Bacon. You have never.
So long you're not. So long you're not with Google people, I'm happy about that one.
You're not answering my question. I say I'm correct. You are an insider of the ruling establishment. And so we expect to get some inside information here. But I know something I don't blame you because of your profession, being a security-minded person. So it's very difficult for you to get information out. Are they advising you, by the way, happy Sunday?
Oh, the same day you said.
Let me be general.
I saw you yesterday in Staten Island, or New York or something.
That is believable. You know,
excellent.
You know what? Labrador, some kind of country.
Why is that?
By the time I walk into the event, but it is amazing, the supporters and followers of LPR, except there were a few voices because they think they were talking, but I respect their views, their opinion. The way the reception to Staten Island was it was warm, it was amazing. And I didn't realize these things that we do, people put eyes on us, to watch us, to monitor us. Yeah, you will get to know it when you go within the community and go places and the feedback you get from them. But your Tabata here, I didn't know it resonated with people as well. You and Liberal, and I was a few people confronted me, and other people came to my aid, say, you know what, Mr. So do what you're doing. Don't mind these people. But overall, like, who was that? What other guy named say some kind of way? One other guy describe you. Say, when Mr. Bacon, he loaded. This Huff guy used to be with National Bank before. I don't know.
Mr. Hart,
Horting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Say, you know that hot thing. I said that one. I know that. I know about that one. The man last year's back on, so that you other half, that half you're talking about.
But that's important. That's good. That's good. You know,
Yeah. So, but to be honest, though, people giving good. Other people open up to tell us how they feel, things that we do, and other people. Obviously, you don't expect everybody to be on our side. But I will tell you, the reception yesterday, it's in one town, Borough State or whatever, it's Staten Island. It was amazing. Librarians. I think that's my second trip there. One to a couple of years ago, I went for the funeral, but it was just. That time was community leader, man. I went as president, so more or less it was something. But yesterday, so now we managed to getting new contacts. People actually, and people are kind of like happy at the directions of the network, making the presence of the people felt, taking the network to them, people explaining their story. I just thought that we start on that note. But it's a good thing. Usually, like take the network to the people and let people tell their success story, and not just only politics. 247, like you and your man Samson told, kind of envisage to do on this network.
Well, it's important. Let's engage in the community. The community base is important. The community support us. These are the people we want to reach, and let us give up our feedback. Based upon that, we improve some of the things that we're doing wrong, and they will give us their opinion. And it's important. I mean, it's on the road. It's great. I saw it. I watched it a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean,
see, you watched it a little bit because it was not about Unity Party, so you just give it.
No. Listen,
you just give it a pass, but yet you try to be politically correct. Let's take the community, but you watch it a little bit. But somebody slam.
I watch it for. When I say I watch it a little bit, I was not there for the whole duration. When I say I watch it for maybe 45 minutes. I was like, okay, I saw the program going on.
I don't know. You got to be in detail. The connotations of I watch it a little bit. It means like it was not political forum. And some kind of unity partisan was not coming there, so Jerry back on. But guess what? Somebody slammed our man. Say, I couldn't believe it.
For what?
Said,
what is it? What is it?
You say, you were with Gonglo, and I don't know what happened. What happened? He would did fundraiser. He was doing Gonglo. He not jumped beyond Unity Party. He wanted Zanza Kawa job. It didn't go through. He jumped beyond. I said, one guy said, yeah, that man, they tell Mr. So, you remember the guy appear on your program? So I said, who? He said, one of your analysts. I said, who? He said, Sister Goya. He said that Sister Goya made Professor Asi Zawulo went out. He said, you better don't go New York. He said, man, I want man to go out after he appeared on our program. That was the end of it. So, people put eyes on things that we do, and this is very vital. It's important as we engage the community, things that we talk, things that we do, our actions before and off camera. That is very vital. And and most of them, other people, but there was a diverse difference. Other people say, I mean to the liberal and to Jerry Bacon. Other people say no.
Thank you. Thank you. Lord, thank you. Lord, thank you. I know, thank you.
You don't have to say thank you. I mean, nobody.
I said, Lord, thank you.
Just telling you the reactions of the people, and I try to be honest as possible as I can be.
I'm
now,
good
about me. You would never come here and tell me and say,
oh, no.
Be very honest here. That that's what I said. But guess what? I didn't put the defense line. I was more or less a listener to get the reactions and what the people. And then somebody said, no. Well, how can you say that to Mr. So? This is what we try to avoid. And the other one said, well, I am a Unity Party supporter. I'm a strong supporter of President Boyka, but we tried, we don't want to have the same history of the past to the extent that people, even that support these leaders, nothing is wrong. So, Mr. So, you know what? You're doing what is right. In fact, I'm getting you a cold beer. So that washed away with this Jerry Bacon, Samson to.
So no way you receive a bribe. Just so
It
you,
was awful. I was at a social event. If you take that to be a boy, it was at their own volitions. I didn't ask for it. They said, get out. He said, this is what you do. I didn't take money. He said, this is what you do.
not necessary money. Not gotta be necessary money. It's not gotta be.
You're going to care to the bone now. So that why you come investigate now? Beer, bra, Corona beer, I'm a father. So is that the case? You're going to be billing the
Yeah, but
no, but honestly, the reception it was great. And one other person, everyone say, yeah. So they compare you with what her name? Prince. He say no, Pape our own Pape. But a lot of Mr. Bacon want to be another Prince Sherry. They want to be another Prince Sherry or LPR. Oh, he said no, but I like how you do it. You can ask them the real good question. But that man, I want to believe that man a real trained security man. I don't think he's like an over. So I said no. Honestly, back up being the police force when all of the Nyama was in around. So he's a trained. What do you mean? And when you ask him question, you don't want to answer. He will be doing this. He will be doing that. I say, yeah. You see, that how they do. They always fixing the unrepairable stuff, and they try to put a false window that will allow thief man to come in your house. Jerry Bacon, happy Sunday. Good evening.
the same to you, sir. Same to you. I mean, we're anticipating of the what do you call it, Labor Day weekend. So let's see what it is. We have next Monday. Next Monday is Labor Day weekend. Next weekend is going to be a long weekend. This coming weekend will be a long weekend.
Oh, so where will be doing? You'll be dividing some what labor?
Oh, man.
You'll be district.
It's Labor Day weekend. And officially it's the end of summer, so we have to have do something. That's what it is.
So what is in the plan? What is in the plan?
We'll discuss it over the air, off the air. I mean,
is that on the other side of the world you're talking about? By the way, is the president still here? My understanding.
No, you safely arrived in Liberia. You're back in Liberia. Back in Liberia.
Yes.
They do extremely well. They came here. He back home, back to Liberia.
He came here. He back to Liberia. What next?
To manage the affair of the people, the message steward of the country.
Let's get a little G's. I mean, clearly you are insider with the boycott folks. These verses they are spontaneous now in out, and will learn more to be coming. What is president is really working towards? I think it's changed the conversation to that. What I was saying is other people on the other side of the aisle. He will not move. He will not go anywhere. But I think he's getting out there. What does that suggest? And will we see at some point in time, I know I'm talking to some other folks, where the administration will engage other media institutions, regardless of their positions and who they are, will we see that level coming in play at some point in time?
Oh, yeah. Mr. Bakai's Excellency is willing to talk to the media on his available schedule, and issues that he want to discuss, because he wants to make sure Liberia is well represented, reintroduce Liberia to the outside world. So that's what it is. And he's willing to work with any ideas that will be prudent to the future of the country. He always said he want to pass the torch to the new generation and the new ideas he want to bring on. So he's working diligently to make sure that everything is be successful for the Liberian people.
Joe Biden now too, the torch they're going to pass on. You show that torch when they pass it, they will not come by. That Joe Biden now, they want to pass on torch now too.
What? I mean, come on, let's face reality. It's reality. I mean, he knows his age, he knows his capability. He wants to.
Let's go into the minds, and we're going to come to the conversations, and we're going to open the phone lines for our folks here. This president, is there any plan in mind? Are you hearing from the vanguard within the inner cycle of boycott? Are there plans of possible re-election or will we see? I'm praying and hoping to sit with this president so we can have a conversation of substance.
I mean, he has not discussed it.
Are there plans? Is what is his political mindset as we 2019? And people will say, "Oh, 2019 is not something." I don't like an overnight preparation. I like an adequate preparation to maximum. And this is where the politicians, our politicians, are falling apart. Everybody going to bed now. They're sleeping. They're having the next time, and they think 2029 is so much far away. Nobody is putting some sort of grand game to work here. But I would see it as a defining time, no matter what the position the president takes at the end of the day, in terms of restoring and giving his remembering his political legacy. So you talk to the president on a regular basis. It's nothing to hide here. You have said that here, and we all know it. If you are given the opportunity to kind of give an advice to the president, which might sound a little bit ridiculous, I know you're going to come back. I mean, you know, whatever it is, I don't care. I know who you are. What will you tell the president in terms of 2029? You thinking he trying to kind of smash me down now? So that's what that laughter is all about.
No. Right now, the president is focusing. How can he bring some credibility and stability within our country? So that's a focal point right now. When the time comes, he will make it known to the Liberian people if he's seeking for re-election. So right now, he just 7 or 8 months into his presidency. So mainly right now, he's focusing on Liberia, the economy, the crime, opportunity, investor to come in the country. So these are things he's working on. That's one of his plans. To talk about love Liberia, build Liberia, and think Liberia. These are the issues he's focusing on. That's why he came to Atlanta the other day, the 124th, I think the 125th for the Black. He went to the Black University, Clark University. He spoke eloquently. He met with investors. So these are the things he want to do for the Liberian people. He is the people president.
Who are the people?
The Liberian people. They don't want elected him. So he's a servant to the Liberian people. The Liberian people elected him. Whether you're in America, whether you're in Asia, you're in Europe, these are the Liberian. No matter where, all over the world, where part of you will be, that is the Liberian people president. Even wherever he goes, he's a Liberian president. People voted for him. He has not forgotten. People from Europe, from Asia, Australia, they made contribution to his election, and he won. So he is obligated to serve the people. His agenda that he said he wanted to do for the Liberian people, to reform Liberia, that Liberia will be the best in before. So these are things he's working on. I mean,
let's turn the camera.
Go ahead. The first society is not easy. Whether we use a certain culture and you try to bring a new culture, we use so people tell and say you got to go to bed 10 o'clock, 9, 10. The person say no, you can stay up a little bit late after 2 o'clock. So it's a new transition in Liberia.
Let's turn the camera off a little bit and put aside our political jackets, bulletproofs, and defense line here. I want to get it right. So how many, because you are much closer to power. How many months now the president been there? 8 months, 7?
8 months now, but we in August, so 8 months. From January to
and I know his core is what? Think, build Liberia, and what? And what else?
Think Liberia, build Liberia, and love Liberia.
Think, build, and love. Yeah. Let's start the order of
then we got as a agriculture, education, tourism, as arrest.
Okay, arrest. Who you want to arrest?
Oh, not arresting.
Oh, okay. No, but let's turn the camera off here. You as a Liberian, when I hear that code name, there is a bigger part that I gave a thought. Thing built. I love it. What is important? Whether that will be perfected into actions, whether it will be put into actions, whether it will be illustrated visibly, and not just talk about it like you politicians do. Let me bring in moderate Terry Collins. You guys now kick Terry out of your own zone, but that's okay. Terry, I'm a man, so let me take the thing here. Let me see you good. You and Sisi and Samson Toe has managed to successfully put Terry aside. Mr. Collins, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Soul. Good evening, Mr. Bacon.
How you doing, Your Excellency?
Yeah, welcome. So let me just ask you, welcome. So we're going to open this microphone here, some variety. I think we need to be having some open air. When I say open air, some real national, social, not just political conversation that will move. And I'm going to be coming on strong on us, we who sit behind the microphone. What are we doing? What are we not doing as well in the interest of the country? But Mr. Bacon, let me just ask you these questions. And I was telling you, let's turn the camera off here. It's the last 6 months. Where do you see, is there any disconnect from the president in terms of decision making, acting to being spontaneous to respond as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Republic of Liberia? Is there anything that on top of your head that they are fall below the belt that they need to fix? It doesn't mean there's a condemnation from your party. Do not get panicked. They're not going to sack you. You're not getting and tell us. So I'm just saying I'll try to hold you with your core thing, bill, and all of that. Is there anything that the president of this administration, let me not personalize it before you kind of flip up here. This administration, is there anything specific that they need to work on as far as you are concerned with your expertise?
Yes. Yes, definitely yes. Especially one of the things that are affecting our youth today is the drugs issue in our country. And I hope the president will put a lot of focus time, put a lot of energy and resources into it. It is affecting our future. It is the image of our people. We to not use the drugs business in our country. It is something very mandarin when it comes to a drugs issue. So I hope the president will put a lot of emphasis and a lot of resources into that direction. And definitely, I think I have to view about it. I'm not shy about it, and I've talked about it so many times on this show. Is it my camera or is moving up and down?
No, you're good. Okay, you see. Yeah, go ahead before I bring him to.
And the next thing is how our system to work, our criminal justice system, it's working. It's working, and I hope he stick to it. He shouldn't be intimidated. Make sure that the Minister of Justice is in power. Give the Minister of Justice the latitude that he will work with. Make sure that things are done correctly. Let him be independent or let her be independent. Make sure our criminal justice is working. And one of the things we are talking about is to put more prosecutors in the Ministry of Justice. We need more prosecutors.
Okay. And I like your honesty here. If it is not a political one, I like your honesty, and it's on camera, it's been recorded. Thank God. Mr. Collins, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Soul and Mr. Bacon.
So, like I said, I was just telling him, I'm not sure you are listening, but we're getting a variety of feedback from our viewers, from our audience, especially when you go in a place and they recognize who we are. Some people give their own personal views, their opinion, which is okay. The people like your Joe Manchin's type of role you play on this LPR, for which Jerry Bacon and the Liberal, and your own guy from the Twin City. I don't know who running behind who, whether you running behind Sisi or Sisi running behind you. But I say, yeah, Terry is a good guy. He supports the president, but sometimes he takes a strong decision. So I mean, variety, and other people say mean to Jerry and the Liberal, because those people, they are the Jerry and the Liberal type of supporter, and other people say no. And so the guy can say, no, you're doing the right thing. So at his own will, he said, hey, just coming from Rhode Island, you need to cool your chest, get a beer. Now Jerry Bacon now is planning to take this to the board, to his man Samson to with Sisi, to call another board meeting because somebody bought me beer. I live when I go way starting Ireland. I New York traffic, I can't cool my chair. Just ask me, you'll do your job. But Terry, The president is back. We know from his visit. The $1 million question is what next? And to give it to them, I believe in the past, people are talking, oh, because of his age, he won't move. But the president is getting out. Getting out is one thing. Coming back in, what is being, because we queried the former president on that. He going, where is he bringing? Let me get a take on that. And maybe any other things in mind. That's okay. There are some things we're going to come to.
Yeah, I think that is concerning. The president leaving the country, coming back with or anything is concerning because that have been a tradition of the Liberian people. Politically, it have been a means by which politicians use to denigrate a leader, stating that the leader have left the country and he coming back with nothing. But is it really what it looks like? I would say no. Apparently, the president is trying to reconnect Liberia back to the international world, where it will be connected. That other businesses and investors will see Liberia as a means of attraction to invest. And that is where you begin, But again, the Unity Party people presented this kind of thing as to say, when President we were in power, they said, when the man go, he's not bringing nothing. And those kind of messages can resonate with people who don't understand, presidential engagements. So I think that President Boka is doing the right thing to go out of the country and solicit opportunities for Liberia. Whether if it's going to work, that is squarely on him because, like Amara Connor said something, he said follow up. It's very important that the government make follow-ups. Prior to the elections, after the elections, we saw Amara Connor and President Boka in the U.S. They tour other places. They had other engagements. And we have not seen the fruits from those engagements. So will this be the same, as was in the past? Will the president make follow-up on all of these engagements that he's making that we'll begin to see prospect in a year or two from now? So that is something we got to look at. But until then, it still remains to be business as usual.
Business as usual. I don't think that is going down well with back business. You continue to create a sort of gap here on this network, and which works for me, and then it's in my favor. Jared Bacon, here we go to Tara Collins, business as usual. You're not a guy from the state of Team Watch, so what are your throwing way Team Watch can incorporate in when the Democrats win, which of course most likely could be the case, but we're going to wait and see. Business as usual. Is he right?
I don't understand. Yes and no. Yes, it takes time to process things. Like he said.
It takes what?
I say it takes time to process. It takes time to resonate. Like he said. Let me use his own word. Mm-hmm. The president is trying to pull Liberia back on the map of Liberian situation. What he's doing right now is, like he said, he is right, in another sense. It's not just coming here, but when you go back to this, go back to Liberia, you have to engage in the Liberian people. That's a Liberian people business you came to run. Engage in the Liberian people. Say, look, I went to a country. This is what I achieved. The press have to update what the president trade were all about, and let the Liberian people hear it. Because at least, even if it's not working yet, and which of course I know it will work, but at least tell them, I went there, I met with Mr. A, I went with Mr. B, this is what we are doing. Explain yourself to the Liberian people.
Why are they not providing these explanation? It takes time. Did we ever remember arguing that in the past with that of former President George Weah to say it takes time, or we want it to take time now?
Of course, I'm one of those. I've been preaching in there where if the president returns, it's their responsibility and obligation to update the Liberian people why he came for, whether he was successful, he's not successful. Let him explain to the Liberian people. This is what I did. This is what I intend to do, and this is what those are met with. I mean, you don't have to go in detail, but you can summarize the whole thing.
Mr. Bacon, you're not answering my question. We started on a good note. You want us to take
What is your question? What was your question?
Ask you a specific question. Yesterday, today now you're telling us it takes time. You are planted a goalpost yesterday that it doesn't take time, but now you are planting a goalpost that it takes time. So my question is, are you one of those who argued yesterday that it should take time, or you just saying that? And what do you have to say about those who yesterday were arguing it doesn't take time? It must be spontaneous. It must be immediate.
Let me say this. Anything we do, it takes preparation. Before you myself come on the air, we had to do research. We didn't just come here and talk part of Tabata, and people to listen to you. It takes time. So you can't just go and say, okay, this is what it is. What I'm saying here, if you get to the airport and update the people, or watch the arrival of the president.
I hate to do it. You are answering, you're doing what you're doing it on purpose because you are a security/politician. I'm asking you, yesterday, did we ever ask George it takes time, or we should say now it takes time? If you want to plead the fifth, is at your own.
No.
I will ask Terry. I think you choose not to answer this question.
No. I'm answering it. When the Fifth Amendment come in, that means I'm being indicted. Anything I would say would be used against me. But right now, I'm on the free press. So why would I take the Fifth Amendment to say I'll be self-incriminated? That's the only call and a hat. But this is what I am saying. I hope you listen to me and listen very well. And the audience will listen to me. Anything we do on the show here, we do research, we do preparation, and we deliver to the people. So when the president come back, or wherever trade he coming from, they have to brief the press or the minister. If he not do it today, let the market actually be able to do it. This is what the president went. He spent 6 days in the state. This is what he achieved. This is what he did. That's what I am saying.
So, Mr. Collins,
Yes,
this is one of the classical and deliberate actions of these people. The lives of Jerry Bacon and his man Samson Sisi Goyo have been very strategic and selective in answering questions he thinks that he should answer. Asking a simple question, and he putting on his bulletproof jacket. He said it takes time. And I was just simply asking, let me just ask you, if you agree with him, you can say, you can answer your way. I'm asking what at the time he's asking now and telling her that it takes time, which of course it takes time. But I'm asking whether we ever demanded that yesterday to say that it takes time. But yesterday we wanted some immediate reaction. What's your thought with his answer?
Yeah, that's true. Politics have to do a lot of rhetoric. So obviously, in the last 6 years, the Unity Party regretted that they lost the election. So they had to create a scenario as to print President Weah-led government as not being effective. So one of those propaganda they had that resonated because President Weah too were careless in information dissemination, just as they are also being careless with it today. They were very forceful in presenting the case that it's expected that when the leader leaves the country, when he's returning, he should bring millions of dollars. Unfortunately, that is not a reality, and it is true that it takes time because Liberia have been in a state of regression. Liberia have been regressing. We are not progressing, and the 12 years of Madam Shirley,
including now, we are not progressing.
Yes, we are not progressing. Liberia has not been progressing. Liberia have been retrogressing. So the 12 years that Madam Shirley put us back on the pedestal with the international community, where she placed us, we have not progressed any further. Instead we have regressed. The economy did not progress. Under President, we had 6 years, the economy did not progress. They claim that the economy was progressing, but we don't see it. We don't see jobs availability. We don't see the U.S. rate is escalating instead of being able to balance. We don't see, investors coming into the country to invest. We don't see what Liberia is actually attracting. So Liberia is not progressing. Liberia is retrogressing. President Boyka leadership too, for the past 8 months, we have not seen any level of progression as well. We're seeing retrogression instead because the U.S. rate has escalated. Right now, people are telling us that even communication is becoming difficult. Under Madam Shirley, we had 3-day free call. Under President, we had a 3-day free call. We're cut down now. We're seeing it that I don't know how you call them, have put new regulations. As a result, people are complaining that communication is especially the network of Lone Star Cell there's a lot of glitches because they are not meeting target. So, and many other things that I can cite here, the economy, job opportunities, pay wages, and many other things. Harmonization, state enforced, pay wages, people are being fired from job and all that. So if you look at the economy of the country, you are not progressing, you are retrogressing. So the problem we need to understand is our problem mostly about investors coming into the country, or we have a problem of lack of control, of lack of control over the very investors, the little investors we have. Because I think we have investors in the country, the little ones we have, they are not meeting the target, the necessary target that will meet the needs of our people. And we cannot yet still regulate that. But we're waiting and we're hoping for our leader to travel out of the country and solicit new investors to come. When you already have concessions on the book that you are not even engaging for the betterment of your people, all right? You got Western Cluster there. They road, they damaging the road. You can shut them down. You got you got metal steel. You got your people living in continuum. You can't deal, but you pray for investor to come. Your people going to go look for it. So how about managing the little ones you have on the ground first that will meet a standard that will actually help to emancipate your people from the state they are in, the state of poverty, than talking about. So I agree with Mr. Bacon that it does take time. But in the past, the Unity Party-led government painted it as if to say that should be an instantaneous state of progression, wherein when the president leads the country, he's going to come back with $400 billion that will change the trajectory of the state. Which, of course, that is not the case because Liberia does not have what it takes to attract investors. You don't have that. So,
You want to respond to Terrett, Mr. Bacon?
Well, I mean, he makes some point, but the idea is, look, like I said, I would say maintain what I just said. It takes some time. We're coming from you're coming from a bad relationship, you get into a new relationship. It takes some time for you to make some adjustment.
So we're in a bad relationship with who? With whom?
The bad relationship. He just articulated a point.
No, so, I want to hear from you.
I know. I'm not going to repeat what he said. He can justify what he just said. Just in this. Look, Mr. CEO, Boyka is willing to do anything at all costs to make sure that Liberia benefits. If we work on it, here are the issues that are affecting our Liberian people. First of all, we have to take care of our domestic issues. The domestic issue is I don't know what the report was, but in order for us to be successful in our country, we have to have our domestic investor. Because all the time, and it's something that I've discussed, all the time, we always say, oh, we're going to different countries to give us some. Let's do a little analysis. When Ebola happened, the whole economy collapsed. All the foreign investors that were in that country, they left. So it is time, that's what Boyka want to do, to empower the Liberian people, even though we want to bring some investors into the country, but domestically, he want to make sure that we have entrepreneurs in Liberia, let those that monitor our country, let them be our Liberia themselves. So these are the issues he's working on. And not just go and say, well, we're going to Ghana, we're going to bring investors, or we're going to Africa to bring investors. You want Liberian instead to be an entrepreneur, so that if any disaster ever happens, that we'll be able to monitor ourselves. That's what it is. But I mean, I agree with him. There are some issues we need to put some regulation in place that he mentioned, the medicine in that place. It's an issue. It's not just going to walk into an institution like let's say who are employed, few Liberian or maybe how many hundred people employed, but there should be a regulation and also not just doing it, but to be reinforced. So that I agree with you on our side.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's welcome our man Keto. Mr. Keto, good evening from Connecticut.
Yeah, thank you, brother. So, and happy to see the two great gentlemen on here.
You see the man, he cabin Mr. Walker, he wear hat today. So you see,
you just get a
the man is a boy now. He's a boy cashier.
I learned how were you? You dress like a woman boycott this evening. So is there change in your political dynasty, something like that? You kind of look like boycott this Sunday, and boycott arrives in Liberia, so it just commensurate with the time. Are you a Boashian or still a Weashian?
No, I'm not a Boashian. I'm an independent. I support President Weah, but on this network, I'm independent. Yeah, and like I said, I like to.
A bad thing to do for this man because they're independent.
Yeah, I'm an independent, and that's why you're gonna hear from me tonight. I will be very constructive.
Independent, but he caucus with the CDC, so that's one of them. Yeah.
Well, on this network, I'm independent because we want
independent, but he caucus with the Democrats.
So again, on this network, I'm independent, and my views will be strictly independent. When I on other network or maybe on the network with Citizen, I will be a Weashian. But I would like to be very factual and give the Liberian people what I think is the right information.
Okay, there you have it. And this is what I think Mr. Keto is on the right path. Don't listen to Jerry back on since they will jump in. When you start being independent, it doesn't matter. What matters is to get there finally. And he's on board with us. Keto, good to have you. You've been following the conversation here. But one thing here quickly, I was asking back on, he was deliberate in his answer. He never answered. If he wants to, I can still give him the opportunity. But I asked him, he said he used the word, it takes time. So my question was, what are we even pleaded for that time the last time around? Or is it now we want to know that it takes time? And you listen to his rumblings, struggling, and I try to pull a bulletproof jacket. It can't hold him. And he tried to do his own thing. But I think Terry spoke to that effectively. Now, what went wrong? Do you see you as being independent? Well, let's maybe I a CDC cap on this evening. Do you think taking time, or what was the disconnect? Some of the disconnect with the past administration. Now people will say it take time, which of course, because people don't understand that you think president leaves the country, they will just grab the whole other country. You are dealing with a sovereignty nation. They have opposition, they have a system in place. You have a navigator, you have to have a conversation. That mutual relationship has to be built. They have to see it, must be evident, and to know where their resources. But those things, government was unable to interpret these things, how long it takes and what it requires to get to that level. And your guy, I would say he was a victim of it, because maybe this is how they portray themselves. Yeah, we're not hearing. It takes time to get these things done.
Well, Mr. So very interesting point and question that you raised, and I was listening to my brother Terry. I think he put it square. He used a word like propaganda. And then the Unity Party got away with propaganda. They used propaganda to sway the minds of the Liberian people into believing that a government can come to office and transform our entire country in 6 years or in 2 years or 3 years, can transform Liberia from the stage it was to where they think in their mind Liberia should be. And then there's one thing we always say on this network: you can lie your way to power, but you can't lie your way to governance. And then so we see them pillowing back, and Mr. Bacon being an engineer of this whole thing. He and the Labour Progressive, they are good in spinning, and it exposes the it exposes the way our
Your audio is interrupting.
Maybe somebody
yes,
calling him.
you got me. You can hear me now.
Yeah, much
Yeah,
better.
Can you guys? Yeah.
yeah, we can
So
hear you.
yeah. So what is really happening in this place? And just it's not just only when the president travel out of the country, Liberians expect dividends right away and stuff like that. It's even more than what is play here. When people come on the air and make statement that is completely far from the truth, and we see people who are educated, people who can discern, people who can see and know these things are lie, these things are not true, they are fabricated. They will agree because it is their man, or it is their time to do these things. How are we going to make that country vibrant again? Because we're talking about the future of our children, the future of this country. Again, and I like the way my brother Terry going now. He's not playing the game, or even though he supported Bwaka, but he's saying, "Hello, Bwaka will leave the stage. Like, bro, always be there. I want to go back home. I want my kids to know my country. Am I going to sit here and agree with the Liberal Progressive and Mr. Bako shenanigan? No. You said it before. The last time that President Weah, when he go out, he's going to bring billions of dollars in the plane and give it to Liberian people so they can put food on the table. Today he's saying it takes time. You didn't know it took time to construct roads. This country that have all the sophistication, it take 5, 6, 7 years before they can finish one stretch of road. What more about a country like Liberia that we don't even make one wheelbarrow in Liberia? People got to bring steel from outside. It would take a longer time to do construction. It would take a longer time to do a lot of stuff. But you're put in Liberian people's mind that everything can happen overnight. And this is why Amara Kone was so strategic when it came to power. He said we should manage our expectation from the get-go. It's because everything they said in the past were a bunch of baloney. But Liberian people bought into it. And like Terry said, it was the propaganda of the day.
Propaganda of the date. Mr. Bako?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes people just want to exacerbate the whole thing. The records, hmm? The records are there. When Ellen Johnson left office, surplus, economy, excellent, perfect. Unemployment rate is very low in Liberia. Economy was good and everything. For the 12 years of Ellen Johnson administration, did she have some fun? That's excellent. No, look at what Joshua left us with in the hole, bombing hole, hmm? Bombing hole, Lanco hole, bomber hole, left all the hole. But I have to dig up from that hole to bring us to the same standard. The integrity of the country. So, but here's the thing, Mr. Baka idea is focus. How can we redirect the country? That's why he focused on. So he's not looking at the past. The Liberian people bought his idea that I'm going to do this. I'm here to rescue the country, and he saw his message, and the people bought his message. So when my brother come here to say, "Oh, this, no." Listen, Baka is focused like a laser, and watch. I would say it takes some time. Worker will redirect our country. The economy will improve. It has been done before. Marasali, I'm not a supporter of Marasali in the first place anyway. She was not my cup of tea in the first place. Let me make it clear. But the economy was good. And Mr. Baka will do the same thing. Mr. Baka is a man of himself. That's what he promised the Liberian people. You are given the opportunity. Let me enclose on this. Mr. Walker is an asset. He's not a liability. Let's put it that way. He's the last generation of his kind in our political arena. He's the last person. That's it. Besides that, he's the last outstanding president right now. So I just want to make that clear.
So who was a liability, Mr. Bacon?
When I say liability, he's the oldest individual because people say, "Oh, Walker."
What were you?
No, hold on. You see, he asked me a question. I'm trying to answer the question. Mr. Walker was going to die. He was never even going to stay in office. Mr. Walker was never even going to be elected as president. Mr. Walker was never. He was using battery. He has a man flying all over the world. So he's not a liability to the Liberian people. He's flying all over the world. You must make sure that things are correct. But yes, the CDC was saying, "Oh, Mr. Walker, when he became president, we're going to pay a hospital bill. We're going to do this." Who paying his bills? Walker is running 88 months now. He's traveling from place to place. So he's not a liability to the Liberian people. He's an asset to the Liberian people. He's got wisdom. He got the experience. He got the international contact, and he's making them. He's making it run.
So let me reconstruct my question here, and you are at liberty to answer. Was President Weah a liability to the Liberian people?
I am saying Mr. Walker is an asset. He's a man with integrity. He's a man with experience. He comes with the office with an experience. He's not a flamboyant individual. He comes with an experience. He's here to rescue the Liberian people, to put Liberian people back on the map where we will never
answer my question. You are not answering my question. And this is the problem with you and the liberal progressive on this network, doing everything possibly you can to liberalize this network. When you are one of those who raised this St. George Weah, I want to ask you this question again, and you are at liberty to choose not to. My question is because you use words relative to the presidency, and you put it into a really serious context, try to leave us in the open box, and I'm going to see the box, but I'm about to open this box here. As president, we are a liability.
I told you, they accused Mr. Boakai that Mr. Boakai was too old. Mr. Boakai was going to die. He was never even going to end his campaign. Mr. Boakai was using battery. He was never going to do it. It was down to the Liberian people. And what I said, he's not a liability to the Liberian people. He's active. He's very active. He came to the office with experience. He's now learning on the job. Okay.
If you can answer it, I'm going to give you I'll give people second chances, and then Terry will cut this deal. We are making specific reference to an office, and this office, the words that you are using, you deploy, there's some sort of correlation here. We are talking about comparing to. If we have to make comparison, we are talking about the past administration, which President Weah was then the president.
No, I just told you.
Yeah, so I'm a free thinker. Sometimes I think my mind runs me in different places.
Or maybe they lead to the wrong direction. So that's one of the things. But I'm just telling you. Go ahead. I said when Ellen Johnson left, if you want to make comparison to that of the two presidents said, look at Ellen Johnson administration when she left and compared to George Weah administration, it's a fiasco.
Is that yes to my question?
I just told you what Boakai brought to the table and what he is doing with the experience that he had.
Mr. So, can you do some fact check on what Mr. Bacon said concerning the economy when the United Party government turned over to the CDC government? I mean, let's just do fact check because this show is a credible show. He said the economy was booming, was good. No, the economy was not good because Ellen Johnson herself said we should we should strap up for dark days. The economy was dropping. The U.S. rate was dropping faster than it was dropping so bad that people was talking all around. And before this government left office, they were able to bring the economy to even stabilize the rate to the extent that Joseph Boakai inherited a good stabilized rate. I don't know how far is it now, but it was stable because I think we're going up to 200 and change. So when you come and say the economy was good, the president said we inherit a broke economy, and you put one twist the whole thing. Let's just
Yeah, and I think I think this is where the CDC fell below the belt because they wave a kind of white flag, and I think they have realized that to President Helen Johnson Sirleaf, because her administration, with all of the billions and good resources that were put into that country, we don't know. I don't know. And which the CDC, where they were unable, and the oppositions who prosecuted a political case against the Unity Party. And talking about drugs now, I'm going to come back to A because billions of dollars were invested. We do not know. I do not know. There is no record to show me where they left us in terms of the investment, how many persons were demobilized, deintoxicated, the rehabilitation process, because that was the ultimate goal, and that where the international community, because they know the aftermath of war situation, they want to deal with these, so many of these issues, especially drugs related, people that held guns, whether they went through rehabilitations to be properly integrated into the society. They did not tell us how many Liberians were benefited, how many structures were left in place. But on the other flip side, the CDC and the oppositions who were going against the Unity Party, they were unable to prosecute their case, and they got by with it. Here we are. They are using the code word drug, which is good. DEA is in chaos. The president and his folks exhibited drug tests. We do not know how many persons are being tested positive. And if they are tested positive, not to stigmatize them, what the government has done, so what are the things in place, or are we just giving these political gravy as usual to our people? Terry, let me just bring you in here. This is quite interesting. The Liberal is not here tonight. You see how the platform is very peaceful. So Jerry is his understanding alone. Is he correct with his point?
Well, even though I got distracted, but yeah, Mr. Jerry has some points. You know, he has some points, but where I think we differ is that, but I think I want to differ with disagree with Keto that the economy was dropping when Ellen were leaving power. Madam Seti left your economy with over 500 billion. Madam Seti took over an economy of $80 million. She left her GDP when she was leaving power. She left her GDP, I think, at a rate of 1 billion, and a recurrent budget of $500 to $600 million. But when she took over, she had an economy of 800 million under Charles Taylor and Judy Bryant. So she raised the bar. What you did now, when you came, you maintained that same budget. You added a little bit, but there have been no impact from what you have been doing. There have been no impact. Majority of the roads in the country shut down. In fact, your leadership cut off a big, huge portion of the country economy. There were no roads going to the southeast. Transportation became very difficult for the people from the southeast to come and do business and trade. So as a result, 1 gallon of gas in the southeast was over $1,000. The rate was not, you were not able to control the rate. And then you started harmonizing people pay. So how can you say that, President Shirley, he was the one that was dropping it? No, the president said he was not dropping the economy. President said he was giving you an economic analysis as to what your challenges will be. And as a responsible government, you were supposed to be able to mitigate those challenges and be able to fight back and be able to. You now are supposed to take the country from that state it was in now to a level wherein it will progress. But when you talk about liabilities, right? People will say, President, we have a liability to the country, than he was an asset. When you talk about President Boka being an asset, it is not yet proven that he is an asset. Because President Boka, in 8 months, have not been able to take any significant step that would give his government a good look as regarding whether if he is an asset or not. For example, President Boka, the A in his arrest agenda stand for agriculture. I was reading something in the front page magazine that states the budget of the agriculture ministry have been sliced again. All right. I thought that President Boka would have targeted and tried to solicit investment or investors that will target the agriculture area. I thought that would have been his first approach because he's an agriculturalist, quote unquote. All right. And when you talk about being an asset, I thought in that direction he would have laid his nest. And by now, 8 months, we will have begun to see prospects from that particular area. But most of what he's doing, we're seeing people running yellow machine, no hay, no tea. Buses, no hay, no tea. You know, nothing really significant have been done to the area of agriculture within the past 8 months. All right. And that brings me to the point to not want to agree yet with Mr. Bacon that President Boka is an asset. We are not seeing it yet. All right. Until it can be proven, he still remains to be a liability.
That's the voice of moderate. Keto, you wanted to come in?
Yeah. So again, point of correction. When President Weah took over in a reserve that is in New York Air Reserve, we had 150 million.
I hope I don't step on somebody toes. I know why I said that. You have made a mistake.
Yeah.
That's right. Go ahead. Stop.
Yeah.
What public radio is all about.
Yeah, it's not a personal attack. I just said something, but yeah. Anyway, it already gone.
Don't be there.
No. Don't worry about anything. No, but normally it's.
Don't be like that Charles Bono from Samuel Dota. You know, he said A and then he come back to come do the fixing.
Yeah.
Keto, go ahead.
So it was in the account that I'm talking about, our reserve 150 mil, and the money in the operating account was less than $50 million. It was not 500 million, less than $50 million, just the operating account for the thing.
No, I mean the budget now, the yearly budget, the annual budget of the state remained 500 million. It was Ellen who brought it to that level. I'm not talking about what was left in the coffers.
It's a prediction. The budget is a prediction. It was not what President. It was not what President Weah was. So President Weah generated his own money when he gave a budget, raised the budget a budget is a projection. So I would say I can raise $10,000 for this program. It doesn't mean I got $10,000. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So if she took it to that level, beautiful. President Weah took it to 600 plus and stuff like that. We saw people benefiting from what the budget, the rise of the budget was up for benefiting. We saw Doe Community Road being constructed. And one of the things that President Weah did, and that had maybe some people from the southeastern part of the country were not satisfied, was he didn't start that project from the southeastern. He started from, because don't forget, Liberia, the way they developed Liberia in the past, our forefathers, they started from Monrovia and took it to from Bom to Nimba. Certain part of Nimba they start. So what President Weah did was to connect Nimba and then push it into the southeastern side. That's what he was focused on, to see if he can go that way instead of just jumping here and there and do it. And so people thought that, okay, it was so the southeastern people voted for him overwhelmingly why he started or whatever, why he went in my country, and the politics play in it. But I think he was being systematic in his developmental strategy. However, you know, even the Lofa Road, we saw how it started and all that kind of stuff. From Dotan, predicted they were going to do the Banga Malakoma Highway, never worked. And Charles Taylor King never worked. Ellen King never worked. President Weah King, Ellen Johnson, suddenly allowed him to break ground with her at the end of the tunnel, and the road started in his administration, and that's a good thing. What we are saying here, President Weah was never a liability to the Liberian people. He was always an asset. It is proven today because Liberian government officials now are going to the Liberty, the Unification Park behind the military barrack, where 11 people were executed for rampant corruption. He transformed that place. I played soccer on that place before. A lot of time I trained over there, and I know it was bred, died right behind the barrack. Today, it's a tourist attraction. When the surf competition started, the Liberian government under President Joseph Newman Boakai, that was the first place they brought the international observer, or what they call it, or visitor, to right to that unification park, the PHP park. We see the D12 park. We see the park in Clarendon, and so many more that President Weah gave the Liberian people for the 6 years you were over there. Subtract 2 years from that because COVID had a lot of stuff. If you don't want to find, but let it just forget about being so political. Let's look at the positive. This making the office in the first month, he decided that he broke ground for Doe Community Road. In less than 6 months, Doe Community Road was already up there. 6 months, it was already up there. It was a place where even the dwellers of Doe Community said, Ellen Johnson said he went to them and told them, say, if you vote for me, I will bring road here. Never carry road there. Students were saying we were walking in the water, we'll take our shoes off, our sock off, and we'll get on the main road, we'll put it back on. President Weah made it possible for them. So how can you say he's a liability? No, he was never. He was an asset. He is an asset because he maintained our peace. The peace that he fought for, that he disarmed our young men, that the United Party-led government encouraged us to fight war and kill each other. United Party. The people in United Party, the scholars, they all contributed towards the backgrounds of today, the liberal progressive of today that call themselves celebrity. They all made us to do what we did for our 14 years. President, we were able to take arms from those people here. And the CEO asked a question whether the couple of billions of dollars that went to Liberia, what did the government, I mean, the former United Party government did justice to demobilize our people and stuff like that.
Can we push back to somebody didn't
I want to come to you. Kieto, do you think your party or the guy you supported, do you think he extended sort of a white flag wave to Helen Johnson Sirleaf, which led to his political demise today, in the sense that a lot of people say, other people on the other side say, well, there was a lot of giveaway from the CDC, from the president. And I talked about that here from the onset, what I knew were going to be coming. This guy, he being in the opposition, and he was able to get to the close proximities of the higher office of the land. And I felt there was not much done in terms of then when the after the one, allowing people to stay on, all of that, sat down with Helen Johnson Sirleaf, and what was the grade point, B or 80 plus, whatever, with respect to what was in the account, the status of the economy. Do you think that was a white flag the president did that much to Helen Johnson Sirleaf? At the end of the day, this is where we are. Do you think that
so before I answer that question, I answer that question, I will also correct. You see, CEO, when he made the point on the 80%, it was because of the peace. It was not because he was grading Ellen Johnson to government holistically on performance. He said the peace. He graded her 80% because the journalists were particular asking him the question about peace. He said, I grade her 80%. And
was there any percent given the status of the economy? Because eventually this is something you were inheriting. Why you think
he was not asked the question? He was not asked the question, and from the get-go, he said he inherited a broke economy. So he couldn't go back and say he gave out 80% when he said he inherited a broke economy. And so that's the contradiction and the propaganda the people ran with. Unfortunately, a lot of our people is stuck in their minds. Don't forget, Mr. CEO, that people lies travel faster than truth. People grab the lies, and later on, if they do the research, they will find out that it's true.
While CDC did not wage, while CDC they were unable to be forceful to come at these things.
Okay, so this is the thing, and I wanted to think the government, I think the president realized, and some of the scholars or CDC realized that they were not forced on the media. They were not forceful on propaganda or pushing the government information. Not even propaganda, but pushing the government message out there, because the opposition came with a lot of force. The opposition had the media under their control, so they came with a lot of force.
You don't make. I don't want to get in trouble with Sissy. How can you say opposition? You are a governing party. You have all of the resources. You have all.
Don't forget. Don't forget. Don't forget.
So why were
Don't
you
forget, Mr. So. This man did not. You see, our society, our politics is surround a certain institution in Liberia. You see, the University of Liberia that the people say is the macrocosm of our greater society. If you don't come from the University of Liberia to get involved in our body politics, you are non-entity, according to them. At least University of Liberia or Cottontown, those two big universities. If you don't come from any, you're non-entity. President Weah did not come from any of them. He came from the slum to the football field to the presidency. So most of the people that were around that had connection with all of the different technicals in the
let me go to
technical
Terry here.
government. I'm just being honest. Just give me a chance to learn for it. I'm trying to say something so you understand. Some of the
But
people
you're not
that
the
were over.
orator tonight, my man. We on the show.
But man, you cannot. Listen. Everybody listen to you. You say your own. Let me say
I'm
my
gonna
own.
come to
Okay,
you.
say your own.
Yeah, go ahead, Keto, quickly before I go to that.
So and to be honest with you, and where the CDC government fell short was in the media propaganda, and I think they realized it at the end where it was too late. And I think if the Liberian people gave them a chance, I think they will be more robust on media dissemination information to the Liberian people, because they were playing game. They were playing. We're gonna do it. We're gonna go there and make it, not knowing the opposition from the get-go. They were
So
there to tackle the government. $16 billion propaganda.
quickly
It
here before
resonated with Liberian people, with the fact that the president already had construction.
I say quickly before I go to
Go ahead.
Terry. We're not going to be long here. And if possible, I know is what happened to his. Okay, let me see. He went off. That was sometime you need to have yes and no. It's not yet TV. Shaman Brand. You say he came from the slum. His way of doing things, his surroundings, his top insiders, were they acting, were they projecting themselves as people that came from the slum? Yes or no? Former President Weah. They didn't maintain that.
This is what I'm saying.
That
This is what I'm saying. I think they were not people from the slum. I don't think they were poor from the slum. They were poor from the very elite. And there were a lot of people had problem with, because the people he's around, some of them, they were not giving him maybe that advice that he needed to move the country in the direction he wanted. I believe,
Okay.
and a lot of people citizens from at it.
All right. Terry?
Oh. Yeah. So what I wanted to correct is, maybe I was too fast to say President Bokar is a liability. What I wanted to say is that he's not yet a liability until proven otherwise.
Yes.
So let me make that commit. Let me make that correction before yeah. So, but until he can prove himself.
They send you a message for that statement?
No, nobody send me a message. Until he can prove himself, for the past 1 year, I would then begin to agree that, because I want to know his budget, his expenditure, because I'm hearing that somebody was saying, I know his entertainment is just $2 million and all of that. So at the end of the year, when President Bokar when the fiscal year budget had elapsed, then I would determine whether if he was a liability for the first year or not. But until then, I was hasty to make that pronouncement, but I still remain on that President Weah was a liability. All right. And, I look at my man, Keto. Keto is talking about, I know a 1 mile do community rule. I know 1 mile too. That is not even equivalent to 99.9 of the rules in the country. And they always make reference to this kind of thing. It's disgusting. It's very shameful for you to be talking about do community rule. It's not a project. One person can stand up and pave do community rule. One rich man can stand up and say, okay, you know what? Let me pave do community rule. Why will CDC people be making this an issue? And they be brave to be talking that kind of thing. These are some of the reasons why Labor can say you can put your phone in your mouth. You sort of be boasting about major highway connecting roads. That's what you sort of be boasting about.
Yeah. I said Terry going back to his roots, using liberal words, that's a lot.
Oh no, actually, yeah, but actually, No, Mr. So let me tell you, in as much as I'm sympathizing a little bit with CDC, because to be honest with you, I must give it to them. That President Booker leadership have been blundering a lot by making, like the way we started the show, right? You denigrated Jovia, that when he travel, he bring that thing. You too now, you have traveled now. What you have brought? Then you say, oh, so these are things I'm sympathizing with them. But when they begin to go that route, to start making some statement like, oh, we made those community rule, then I see that you keep putting your foot in your mouth. Because the thing here is that when you talk about the budget, you talk about Ellen not leaving anything. Ellen claimed that she left 150 million in the budget. When she left power, she said she left 150 million. Your guys came out to say that's not true, but they did not present the evidence. And the front page Africa revealed that highlight with facts, revealing the turnover note. I don't know if you can remember that. I think I'm trying to pull it up here on my tablet. They revealed facts stating that it was true that over 150 million was turned over to President Weah. Up to today, we understand that whole thing yet. So what I'm saying is that what makes you a liability, Keto? Like being a liability doesn't. What makes you a liability is how much money you generated over the years from our country as compared to how much work you did, how much you were able to accomplish to emancipate certain amount of people from poverty. What did you do? We're not only talking about what you generated from the country, but what you achieved as compared to what you were generating that helped to emancipate our people from poverty and all of that. You got to be able to mitigate that margin before you can come out to say that your president was not a liability. I'm not talking about who President Weah was as a soccer player. I'm not talking about what he achieved. Take, for example, Mr. So, being president, if you cut off a major supporting arm of your economy off, what become of the country? You cut off Southeast. You yourself had to go to Southeast in the plane. You had to ride helicopter during the election to go to your own county where you came from. Then you're telling me that that was not propaganda, that was reality. Everybody saw it. All right. Grand Jide were cut off. Maryland were cut off. So, my brother, that is what, if your country cannot bring in a revenue from these various counties, how were you running the country? All these things are factors in that making us to say that, that is what it is, Keto. I'm not against President Weah, but I think that you talk about the peace, but anyway, I will just stop here because I don't want to dominate. But you talk about the peace, you talk about peace. It is your responsibility as a leader to maintain the peace. It's your responsibility. It's not a plus on you. It's not something you gain as a point. No, because it is your responsibility as a leader to maintain the peace. Part of your job as a president is to maintain the peace, is to make the country peaceful. That is your job. What you gain points is on the basis of what did you do, what did you achieve? Because the person who really brought peace to us for 12 years, that Madam Sirleaf, she was the one who, through her ingenuity, she was able to organize our country in a way that we were able to enjoy peace for 12 years. All your government was to do was to maintain it. That was all. And President Weah did just that. So me, that is not a plus. A plus is when, like, for example, President Weah built those hospitals and those other things. Those are things that I expected for you to lay out as plus, but you did not.
All right. So, today Sunday we're going to post short pens on the program, but Jerry Barkham being listening for the most part. Let's hear him, and then we're going to do our round-up events during the week. We're going to discuss a lot of things. I don't think we have had a chance to discuss what happens at the compound. We've been talking to people. We're going to see what happened, the fallout, and how that came into play. Jerry Barkham, you listen to the two gentlemen. What have you to say?
Well, you see, when Mr. Tita come here, we're having a good conversation today, this evening. He came and exacerbated the whole thing. Broad Georgia issue. Now we are devoted our whole 45 minutes on Georgia administration. But look, I just want to give a few things to him. Maybe he need to go read or do some research on it. Georgia, the first day of the presidency, they were giving Yana boys money changer, little cash, give it to them on the street to go cash. Who does that? Hmm? Who does that? Take money, capital people money, and give it to money changer on the street for them to go cash money, to go change money. Who does that? Responsible government. Okay? Harmonization. People came and work. Then they say you're reducing their salary. I don't want to put it in different terms because these are big words and want to use it. They reduce their salary. You're making $500 and they say they're paying you $50. Who does that? I thought you claimed the ladder. Where's the Liberian dream on a job of your administration? Look at COVID. $30 million. It's not accounted for. Drugs escalated on a job of your administration. Today, we are fighting Zogo. So, I mean, the laundry go on, but here's the thing I want to focus on this evening. Something happened at CDC headquarters for the past, something I want to bring it to light. There was a warrant issue, such and such warrant issue at behind the compound of the opposition party. And I listened to the IOC, the officer in charge. He spoke eloquently today on Spoon TV. What had happened. And these are the things Boyka is fighting. This drugs issue is an epidemic in our country. From my opening statement, it's an epidemic and we had to fight it. Regardless, what Mr. Boyka inherited, it is time, it's on Boyka watch. It is not time for us to deflect and say, oh, well, we inherited it. So for that reason, but it is time and Boyka is doing everything at all costs. But is that something for all the politicized? Okay. And I listened to the IOC, the ORC, I mean, the officer in charge. They went there at 4:30 done, and there was an intelligent leak, and they started storming the Liberian drug, the LDA. Upon their departure, police came in because there was information gotten there. So there's a lot of issues that we have to work with. So I just wanted to bring it. But I know we got less time.
What was that?
We got less time now to talk about it. So I just
why you brought it up?
That's something I want to discuss. But the time, I mean, we can discuss it. But it's time, you know, we got what? 30 or 35 more minutes. If we do
I do not intend to do a hurried conversation with that.
Okay, sure.
We definitely we're going to go in depth with it this week here. But the drugs issue, that is,
I'm one of those that always advocate for drugs issue on the show. Let's go ahead.
Advocating and implementing, that's the same. That's two different things. He exhibited to the Liberian people, to the world, by administering drug tests, which in itself sends to me his quest to fight against drugs. But you, as a former law enforcer, do you think, with the current situations, even looking at the DEA, the autonomous agency of government responsible to wage an effective campaign against drugs, not just only the users, but those who don't tie up, the DEA is in chaos. Does that match with what he says? Why is he not taking that? Because that's one of his top priorities. Why is he not taking a stand? Now, we've been told there's no way A.B. Kroma and this guy are going to be going back. Even if it is true, why is he not taking ultimate stand to make sure that institutions is fully staffed, not just acting, and I know people can be acting, but that's one of his set priorities. So why is he not taking more steps to make sure that we see his vision with respect to fighting drugs in the country? What is responsible? Are you happy about that?
Oh, listen, the president will take his time and make a good decision when it comes to the replacing the two gentlemen. He will take his time to make the report. I believe there was a report that was committee set up to investigate what happened between Patika and Kroman, and the investigation. I believe the report has been completed, and it left for the president to make a decision on that issue.
What the report says, I know you get access to it.
I didn't read it yet. They has not come out yet with a report. So I mean, I will be preempting.
How you know you're being completed?
That's what I heard in the divan. That has been completed. That's what I heard. I've not seen physical something and say, yeah, Mr. President, we are done.
You are insider. Just give her the surface. What is it saying?
How would I know? I said I do not have a detail. I do not have a detail of what I have said to the president. So, but what I'm here to say here is, look,
you're good at, and do you want to speculate what you think going to happen?
I cannot preempt the president. I would never preempt the president what the president anticipating doing. But what I said in the past is my recommendation on the show is that the two gentlemen do not deserve to go back. Here's the reason why I said it, and exactly what I said on the show here. The people went to say a warrant, and there's an information leak. By the time they arrive on the scene, they were started being stoned. So that's some of the things. It's dangerous. It is dangerous when the two people come back, because if one of them come back, if one of them take that position, they also have their own alarm and within our organization. So we need two new brand people that will run our organization, started from scratch, and be able to implement what Burka want.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
Quickly at Terry. After Terry Ketter, and then we can use our 1 minute to wrap up. Terry, is the administration doing enough with respect to what they intend to do with drugs, fighting against drugs, seeing what is unfolding?
Again, those are some of the things that even discouraging us about President Burka's leadership. But again, if it depends two ways. If he is actually using this as a means to suspend the guys, but then give them a letter of suspension and tell them, say, look, you guys are suspended for 3 months or you guys are suspended for 4 months. But if there's an investigation on his desk and he failing to address the investigation within a period of time, knowing very well that drugs were declared, like Ellen would say, public enemy number one, then I don't see why President Burka is stalling. I don't see why he's slow. You the president, are you afraid that when you take decision, people will say, oh, some people will come and pull your balls out? That's what the Librarian can say. You are the president. Take decision. If you say you want to fight drugs, you have to be robust. You can't be slow. You can't be dilly-dally. You have to be determined, and you have to be definitively clear, and you have to be drastic. So I think if he is just using this time to suspend the people indefinitely for maybe 4 months in his mind, then that is a good thing. But if he is doing this because of the inability to act due to what people will say, how will other people feel, then I think that he is not performing very well in this regard as a president.
Yeah, so Mr. Bagon touched on the party headquarters, the incident at the party headquarters. So he put us something out there for
maybe in the coming days, it could be tomorrow. I want us to go. I don't want us to leave it half. He did it on purpose as part of their distractions, always on this network to deploy. And then he said, "Oh, they're looking at it. Watch."
Seriously, that's why I wanted. That's why
There's a security man.
That's why I wanted to debunk some of the things he said that was not true, because the very officer in charge, the very day the incident happened, he came on to speak about it. He said things when he went on Spoon today. He contradicted himself on things he said. They're trying to clean up, and I think they are wrong for doing what they did. That we all frown at the fact that drug is in our country. We won't get rid of drugs. And I think the president announced, I mean, from his very get-go of his presidency, that he was going to fight this drug. It's a menace in our society. It causing our young generation, you know, a whole lot. And so he's going to fight drugs. To see that at this time he has not appointed somebody new, or or overhaul the drug enforcement agency to the extent where he will equip them and make them to function properly and under the laws. To me, it's just mind-boggling. It's not something that we can. If you look at what is unfolding in the country for the DEA boss and the deputy to go back and forth, as fact, the matter of fact, the deputy is telling the world that the DEA boss is compromised. Especially when it comes to how he deal with drugs, the drug he sees, how he puts them back in the market, how he pack all the kind of stuff, how the American don't want to do business with him and all the DA boss, and the president is still holding to that report and not taking action. It shows the inability of this president to do what he said he would do. That's why Terry is finding it difficult at this point, because the rescue team said they were going to and hit the ground rolling from day one, and up to now they're still bouncing. They're not even and hitting the ground rolling. They're just bouncing one place, and it's frustrating a lot of the rescue supporters, and I can understand that. But again, we were sold, or the rescue people sold us a bad goose in a bag, and the Liberian people bought it. You understand? They bought it. Liberian people bought pig in the bag, and so I mean, it's so frustrating for them not to start crying, this early. The frustration is frustrating. You can't, when people come in, look, Mr. So that's what I keep saying to our liberal, and unfortunately he's not yet. And even Mr. Barker on his platform,
Yeah, no, take the message to him.
it's to be very transparent to Liberian people and start. You see, look, the Liberian society now is a young society. It's not a society from the 70s, the early 80s, when the progressive was, doing all the propaganda, using our students to throw stones and hide their hands, and making sure that our country plunged into where we came from, this chaotic civil war and all that kind of stuff. That time over. That time over. We are moved to a different dispensation where even the baby in the diaper eyes open to the reality. And so you guys got to treat our country as fair as possible instead of putting all the kind of shenanigans out there, because it's not going to go, it's not going to fly. And, it's not going to fly. And it's so unfortunate, Mr. Bagon. We should stop. We should look at Liberia as the place where our grandchildren will live and be free from even talking about corruption. To be live and, to live and even think about they got to put iron bar on the front door and have another panel door. Like it's like a prison all by itself.
But it's not. No, but
Eh?
it's not under this administration. People start
No,
putting
I'm
back.
just saying, I'm not saying this administration. I say to live in a society where we'll not be putting iron bar. It came back all the way back even from when Taylor became president, because of the kind of things that were
Oh,
happening in the country. I'm just trying to say, have we not
uh,
gone through what we went through? We'll not be putting that kind of iron bar. When I was growing up, you could leave your door open and go to sleep. Now
no.
you gotta get double door. The one that look like you in prison. When fire comes, your neighbor he even come to bust that door from you. You live inside. And this is a sad thing. So I
Okay,
think
guys.
the liberal and Mr. Bagon owe us justice, instead of coming here and bring another old man on stage that carrying our country backward. The mayor sold to us for his transparency, like Terry said, his integrity. We have not seen any. Because the very first time that man became president-elect, he corrupted the nation. And the people ashamed to say it, because it will look bad on you guys who promoted him. When he instructed
Uh,
his
let's
his,
leave it
his
there.
minister
Okay.
to go and get $500,000 to buy a car.
Okay.
Just
Thank
put
you
it
so
on the
much.
minister books.
So let's do our wrap up. If we can do it a minute each, that would be great. We are already out of time. But
Can I say something before we do the wrap up, please? Is it
No,
possible?
rapper, don't say nothing, just rapper.
you say a lot of things. Let him rebuttal. Go ahead. I'm not gonna be like he a liberal action voice.
Michael Ray, how you doing, my brother?
Thank you. Thank you. Here is my dear brother. Okay. Really? Really?
Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you. At least you agree with me. You see, both of us get the same back view, so you see, you must say on the same couch. That's one of the
No,
important.
I wanted to say one or two are living together.
So you come on my couch. That's the whole thing. But but yes, the important thing. At least when Boakai came to power, he said, "I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do." Should I run his campaign? Silent. He was very popular. The Liberian people bought him because he was a football player. He's an icon, so we bought him. Because he had connection around the world. He played in Europe, so for that reason, he was going to be a skyscraper from Cape Mount to Cape Palmas. So everybody bought our idea, Jovia had connection. He never even laid a word. Why he promised to the Liberian people? Now he campaign. Then somebody come to that and say, this is what Jovia said 2015, 2016, a campaign time. But yeah, at least Mr. Bwaka is saying, these are my agenda. These are my agenda. But the drugs issue is an epidemic in our country with us. It's an epidemic in our country. And not time for to do anything with politics or to politicize it. It is hurting our economy. It is hurting our country. It is hurting our children. It is hurting our mother. I saw a mother with her 4 children. She's selling her land in rehab just to be able to support her children for them to get something. It is. I think it is beyond. I saw it today. I was crying.
They're Liberal fans, so they got to stand up for them. Okay, so all right, guys. We want to thank you so much. Let's do our 1 minute closing. What is the most lesson from this conversation you want our audience to take home? Keto, let me start with you.
Well, I think one of the lessons for me is all for us to be very patriotic to our country, not our individual. For us to put our country first and not individual.
Does patriotism comes with consistency, Keto?
It should come with consistency. It should.
It should come with consistency. You go on one night where you are reaction, you come here, you are independent. Is there consistency?
Yeah, different color. New England weather.
The reason the distraction too much. The reason here is Mr. So when I say I go on other network, I'm a reaction is because those network they got people that continue to peddle lies, falsehood. And when I come on this network, even though I got people that support this administration, this network, present some factual approach to our country. And so it would be only fair for me to put a hat of an independent person, an independent mind, a free thinker that push the narrative of a good country and call it for what it is. I'm not going to sit here and say yesterday Mr. Bacon was saying, President, I didn't bring dividend for his trips, and so I expect Joseph Waka to bring dividend because I'm sound in my head that Joseph Waka did not go to bring back money to Liberia. He went to put Liberia out there, and I hope he did. And you understand? Unlike the people of the past that was saying that, even today they're still saying it, they're running with the same narrative. I'm not going to go that route. That's what makes me an independent voice.
Thank you so much. Jerry Barker.
Yes, sir.
What are we taking home? What are you? What are we taking home?
Well, from my perspective, Liberia first, party second, individual third. That's what it should be. Liberia first, party second, individual third. Or what kind of group, but Liberia should be number 1. We all are here today because our parents sacrificed to be for us to be here. And I expect us to do the same thing for our own country. We are here to spread the news how can we help our country? We are very fortunate to be in the United States, and somehow we are very passionate. We want to return to Liberia to at least to make our contribution to the society. And personally, me, I'm willing to go home to make a personal contribution, whatever it takes. It is not about job, it is not about startup, but we are needed. Especially my background.
Why are you afraid of job business? Who
No, it's not. Look, joy is not an issue. Joy is not a matter. But yeah, in the society, you have to be a role model. How many role models? When I was coming, there's a role model for me. How many role models we have in our country right now and say, yeah, well, I know you when you were in high school or you were in elementary. Look at your elementary teacher today and say, yeah, she or he helped me to be where I am today. Look at our teachers and today. So my takeaway tonight is let us put Liberia first. What our Ellen Johnson said, leave after 14 years of war or 20 years of war, it is time for us to be a patron of Liberia. Let us put Liberia first, and we will move forward. Liberia will be all right.
Okay, let's go to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where Mr. Collins is standing by. Mr. Collins, what's the most lesson in tonight's conversations and what you want our audience to take away, to take home?
Well, I think that the lesson learned here tonight is all about, criticism. Are we doing constructive criticism, or are we just criticizing because we want to come to power, or we want to be the one that people should look at? So I'm going to denigrate Keto because Keto is in the position that I want to be in. Because from the onset of the discussion here, it was like you said something like President Walker going to America, he came back. What is he bringing? Because when he was in power, he told there were criticism on President Weah that he going out of the country. Why is he bringing to? So the lesson learned here is if you a constructive criticism to be a criticism done that you know that if you were given the opportunity or the chance, you would do it better than the person you are criticizing. But not that you just criticize the person because you don't like them, all right, or you jealous of them being in that position. I also want to leave this with the people, our audience, that President Walker was not the decision of the Liberian people. President Weah was. But when God gave you something and you don't manage it, that the people got a song that power and Okino and Okino equate to capsize, all the kind of thing. God gave President Weah this position, but the people wanted him to rule. The people were not intending to take power from President Weah after 6 years. President Walker became an alternative. This is the reason why if even President Walker fails, the people will not blame him much. Do you know why? And that many people are not even discussing this. That is why President Walker said rescue. That means he was just an option or an alternative for the Liberian people to take power from President Weah. He is not the main target because President Walker is only there for 6 years. 6 years is not sufficient to transform Liberia. 6 years is not sufficient to build Liberia. So the Liberians did not want him. President Walker is just an alternative. So if even he fails, the Liberian people will not blame him much because he was not the main person Liberia wanted to rule them. They wanted President Weah. And President Weah needs to understand that the only way you can bring the people back, the only way you can have the opportunity again that maybe they could trust you is rebrand the party and change many things that you are still working on and admit to you're wrong. And also tell the Liberian people what are you going to do differently. Thank you very much, Mrs.
Okay. All right, guys. What a wonderful conversation. So we're going to have more of that. It's quite interesting. The Liberian investigator, now ANC political leader, Alexander Benedict Cummings, is calling for an independent commissions or body to probe into what and how the decisions of going in a major political opposition's compound Ray. Is that another version? Is that how Cummings going to be exciting? Is he about to insert himself more into the political discourse as could be preparation for 2029? I think they say he won't go away. He want to emerge with what UP and all of that, but we'll wait and see. Yeah, a lot of conversation in the backyard. Who knows? Maybe Boyka will pull his hand up. Jerry Barker, do you think so? Let's leave it there. I'm not ready to relegate this conversation again. Guys, thank you so much.
There's a whole Bandura bag you go open.
We'll be back.
When the prodigal son left home, well, he went back to home, right? You remember in the Bible?
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
he went home.
So waiting, and it's not coming.
He was not a prodigal child. He had never been. He would never be.
Terry Fatima is standing out here. So why you keep calling Mr. Toadney and he isn't even on the show to defend? You see, the liberal.
Did I call liberal?
I would defend Mr. Toad.
I believe
Fatima.
You know,
he have been well defended.
I didn't see yesterday, but Fatu is looking out for the liberal and his ally. This is quite interesting.
Yeah, she really holding them. She really trying to protect them.
Well, liberal painted a picture that he's a celebrity, so I think Fatu looking at his celebrity status.
Yeah, so that will end up bringing us to this conversation: the media role in the society. Has it managed to poison the minds of people for which they are enticed, or what is going on? We're going to have that conversation. But these are the kind of tweet Jerry Barkan laws because they are standing up for his ally. Potentially, when he's off here too, when somebody's saying, they will also stand for him. But anyway, guys, thank you so much and have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Keto, thank you so much. Mr. Collins, as usual.
Thank you, Mr. Sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, folks, that does it this evening. So I want to thank you so much for your time. And again, our appreciation to the people of the Staten Island of New York. There was a warm reception that's yesterday. That's part of our commitment of not just undertaking political conversation, but also go in the community to take the network to the community, allow people to tell their success stories. And we receive a really, really, really good reception from New York, for which I think 2 or 3 more invitations pending. And we told you that as long to be your follower or not, Liberia Public Radio tell us if you have any planned event, major event, memorable event, we can definitely be part of that. I think people have done a lot of good things, and there's a need that those things be showcased as well. So just how we take on political conversation. We can dive into the social and other family-oriented issues that are required to be showcased on our network. Until then, folks, have a pleasant evening. Thank you for your time this evening, and by God's willing, we'll be back here for more programming and other news making headlines. Thank you so much, and I'm Alfonso Z, and so have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.